Okay, we're back with part 2 of our first video of the Voodoo Thoughts series, and we're talking about game publishers and the trend of them uh, using online codes for all of their online content on their games. You know, as I was saying, I'm kind of partial, surprisingly, to the game developers because I think that if you do pay full price for the game, you should be rewarded. But if you don't, like if you rent the game, then you shouldn't have access to the full game because you didn't pay for the rights to have full access to the game. And we were talking about some of the things that the publishers could do instead of cutting out the online content. You know, why the online content? Why not, another part? Why not add incentives to the people who buy the game instead of taking away parts of the game for people who don't? It's kind of a double-edged sword because I'm on the side of the game developers, but I'm also on the side of the consumers, thinking that there's other ways of doing this rather than cutting out online content. Unless you want to pay the extra $10 for a new online code to people who buy the game used or rent it. But anyways, final thoughts on this topic. Just because I agree with what the game developers are trying to do doesn't mean that I'm not disappointed about it. Doesn't mean I'm depressed about it, because that means that all of these great games coming up this year that I can't afford, that I have to rent because I can't afford to pay $60 for every new game. And if they have great multiplayer, it means that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to play it unless I want to drop the extra $10 in order to play that multiplayer, which is disappointing because I want to try these games and I want to play them in full to have the full experience, but I'm not going to be able to do that unless I'm willing to pay $10 extra, which I may, depending if there's a game that has great multiplayer and I really do want to play it. I may drop the extra $10. But bottom line is that this is a trend that obviously we've seen more and more game publishers pick up. It's one that I think we're going to continue to see, and by the end of 2011 I think you're going to see most of, if not all of, the major game publishers going to this type of service with this online codes. I think it's going to be pretty much the norm by the end of this year, which again is unfortunate for someone like me, but it's understandable on the part of the game developers who don't want to be ripped off. So I think both sides are at odds right now. Both sides feel like they're getting ripped off. The game publishers are saying, well, we're getting ripped off because not enough people are buying our game new, and then the consumer is saying, well, we're getting ripped off because we're still paying money to rent your game and buy your game used, but we can't play your whole game, and that's ripping us off. It's not fair. So pretty much just like every really major issue in the world seems to be about money. Just like the NFL, with the issues they're going through, for instance, is all about both sides feeling that they're getting ripped off and both sides feeling that they can't reach an agreement where they both benefit. And it's the same way here with the game players and the developers of these games and publishers of these games. It's the same thing. Both sides feeling that they're getting ripped off and not being able to really come to a head. Of course, the publishers have much more of an advantage over me than and the consumer than the NFL does, because the game consumers aren't going to boycott games. It's just not going to happen. Like the NFL players walked away, the game consumer isn't going to walk away from playing games. They're just not. So they wield a little bit more power in this situation, but it's one of those things that we're going to have to get used to as gamers, and we're either going to have to get used to not being able to play the online, or we're going to have to get used to spending some extra bucks in order to get that privilege. So definitely an interesting topic. I would say it's one of the major hot button topics right now in the gaming industry about these online passes. But we'll see where it goes. Like I said, my prediction is that by the end of this year, 2011, most game publishers will be using this kind of service. EA has been, and now THQ, and it looks like Warner Brothers is going to begin doing it. We'll see, and we'll see if it stretches beyond online content. We'll see if they do actually add some more incentives to buying the game used. Not only do you get the online pass, which you got all the time before for buying the game new, but you also get some added bonuses. You also get some, a unique weapon or something like that, just for buying the game new. I know you get that sometimes now just for pre-ordering the game at certain places, but I think if you buy the game brand new, if you didn't pre-order it, you should get some of those same incentives. So we'll see where it goes. An interesting topic, and so one of the whole points of this series is to spark some debate and see what you guys think about this topic. Please feel free to go into the channel comments of this video, not channel comments, the video comments for this video, and please feel free to start waging war on one another. Start fighting this out and debating it on the video comments, posting what you think, and maybe if the discussion gets interesting, I may jump in on the comments and leave my thoughts on something that someone said along the way. So please feel free to express your opinion of this. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. This is all about sparking some debate and seeing both sides. So I'd like to see that. So please express your opinions in the video comments below, and tell me what you think about this topic. But for now, I'm Voodoo51292. I'd like to again welcome you to the Voodoo's Thoughts video series, and I hope you enjoyed this first one. And when we have a new issue coming up, I will be sure to make another one. So thanks guys, and hope you enjoyed it.